Hello, I'm Claire Boston. You're watching Storyosity, where everyone has a story. We have a very special guest with us here today, Marina, who is direct support staff at Faith, Hope, and Charity here in Storm Lake. Marina, welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
So to kind of start off with, let's talk a little bit about, who you are, maybe where you grew up, kind of about your childhood.
I'm from Chicago, and I guess it was like a normal childhood or whatever. My parents got split up, so I moved to Storm Lake when I was 13.
So what age were you when your parents split up?
Yeah, I was 13. I turned 14 here in Storm Lake.
Oh, okay.
We moved in the summer.
Oh, okay. So what was that transition like for you between Chicago and Storm Lake?
It was different because it's a city and then it's like a small town.
So then what would you say was the biggest difference between Chicago and Storm Lake?
Just the people.
In what way?
Because I didn't know anybody here when I moved here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So was that hard for you, or?
No, the harder part was the fact that my parents split up.
Okay. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. That's the reason I started to have issues in school and stuff.
So what kind of issues kind of arose from that?
I only made it up to 9th grade first semester because my mom started to date other people, and then I guess since I was the oldest, the fact that my parents split up was harder on me. So I started drinking at 14 and smoking weed, and to the point where I ended up dropping out of school.
Wow. So kind of how and why did your involvement with it would be illegal for you in regards to your age and also marijuana, kind of what started you on that and what kind of prompted that, the first instance?
I guess just that when friends would get together, we would all hang out, and then we would just drink, and it turned into an everyday thing instead of just on the weekends. Mm-hmm. So I started to go late to school, then I wouldn't show up. I would go for 3 periods and then just leave. 7th period and I'd just walk out of school. I wouldn't care. Mm-hmm. I had missed 43 days straight of a class that I wouldn't even go. And they ended up putting me in alternative. And I didn't even go to summer school when I was supposed to. And I didn't want to go back to school for 10th grade. So my mom didn't even send me up for school anymore.
So what kind of did you do from there after you decided you were going to be in school anymore?
I just continued to party and not really care about anything.
So how did this affect your relationships with other people and your interactions?
Well, me and my mom would have a lot of arguments and stuff because I was acting out. And then I started to hang out with older people, and then at 16 I got into an even worse drug.
Which would be?
Meth.
So what was that like for you?
I was peer pressured into doing it, but I guess after I tried it, I liked the fact that I'd feel like I had energy and I didn't feel like it was a downer. So ever since then, that's what I would do.
So how did you finally decide that this was not necessarily the path that you wanted to go down in your life?
My mom had kicked me out before I turned 17. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything. And I was just hanging out with the people that were doing it. So they would do it they'd get high for 3 days and then just get sober for 1 or 2 days, and then we'd go again. And I would go from friend to friend's house. Mm-hmm. And I almost overdosed twice. And then I called my dad after 3 months, And I moved to Chicago with him because I couldn't do it. I couldn't find a job or do anything.
Oh, wow. Well, it looks like we're coming up with a commercial break here. We'll be right back with Mariana here on Storyosity.
I'm directing today.
I'm producing this commercial.
I'm the technical director.
I'm master of the audio. I'm doing deco. Don't screw it up!
Honey, we'd like to...
Your father and I.
Honey, let's talk.
Here goes. 5, 6, 7, 8. We know you're getting older.
We're not sure what to say,
We're completely clueless.
but we'll wing it anyway.
We're singing a song, doing a dance.
I'm wearing gold lame pants.
This is what we call the big drug talk.
Relax. Talking to your kids about drugs and alcohol doesn't have to be a big production. Learn more at timetotalk.org.
Welcome back to Storyosity. We're here with Marina Tejas. So, Marina, we've kind of talked about, how you were in Chicago, then you moved to Storm Lake, and then you got involved with drugs, and you ended up dropping out of school, and you moved back with your dad in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So, what I really want to know is, what was really the turning point, and what point did you realize that the life you were leading just wasn't for you and wasn't what you wanted?
When I came back to Storm Lake, I was 2 months away from turning 18. Mm-hmm. And I started to think about that. I would always complain that nothing is going good in my life, but I would never try to do anything about it. So one day I had motivation to just get up and actually do something about it. So I started, I got my job back at McDonald's and I applied to Faith Open Charity and I got that job. And I just didn't want to do drugs anymore or anything. So I had stopped doing drugs 3 months before I applied at Faith Open Charity or did anything, because I thought that there's no point in throwing my life away when I can do better in life.
So was coming kind of down off the drugs hard for you, or is it a tough experience?
I can say that I was never addicted to the drug, because I'm not the type of person that would do it on a daily basis. The only reason why it was like that was because the person that I was with would always take me with them. But I would be able to last months till I wanted to do it again.
So so you are now working at Faith, Hope, and Charity, yeah. Right? So what do you do there? What is your role?
Direct staff support. We help the kids out with what they need.
And so what kind of other responsibilities do you have there?
We do, we help them when they need, they have to take their baths or for supper and stuff like that.
So can you talk a little bit more too about what the charity is, Faith, Hope, and Charity?
They have 4 homes, and it's homes for special needs kids. Oh, okay. So they have 8 kids in each home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so what else, what are you interested in outside of work?
I'm just hanging out with my friends. But usually, literally, my life is revolves around my job. So it's I get 2 days off in the week or whatever, and I hang out with my friends.
Oh, wow. So what do you think is the best part of your job, or what do you pull from it?
Just working with the kids and being around them. Yeah, I like going to work. I actually like this job. Because when I would have jobs before, I really wouldn't care, and this one I actually care about.
Wow, that's great. I have no prompter. There's no prompter.
There's no prompter.
Okay, I'll keep talking. So, kind of, if there was one thing that you could pull away from your experience, you know, in your life, what would it be? What's the lesson you would want everybody else to learn?
Just like literally stay in school, like don't have that attitude of I don't care, I want to do whatever I want, because in the end you end up screwing yourself over, because when I wanted to go back to school and graduate, it was already too late. Mm-hmm. And literally to be able to get somewhere in the future, you need to just like go down the right path instead of drinking, doing drugs at a young age and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So would you ever want to go back to school or finish up your education?
Yeah, I want to get my GED. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to go to school for vet, to be a veterinarian.
Oh, wow. So is that a process you've already started, or is that just one that you plan on doing in the future?
The classes start in April, I think. So yeah, I'm planning to go sign up so I can take them. So
why be a vet? What kind of made you, or kind of preempted you to want that?
I like animals. I like being around them. So that I wanted to be a veterinarian ever since I was young.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So kind of too, if you were to give any advice to people who are looking for help that were in kind of a similar situation as you, what would you tell them?
To try and find motivation to be able to better themselves in life, because it's not worth throwing your life away and ending up in jail just for drugs or for just doing stupid things.
Right. So kind of, was there anything that has, you know, changed your mind in, or what prompted prompted the change that made you kind of decide that you want to make a difference? I mean, you work at Faith, Hope, and Charity, but you also want to be a vet. I mean, is that kind of something, what kind of prompts you to want to make a change and, you know, help others?
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. So let me rephrase that. So it seems to me that, you know, you work at Faith, Hope, and Charity, and you want to be a vet. I mean, to me, that just seems like you have kind of this urge to like help people and just kind of do a service to everyone else. What kind of motivates you to do that?
Just the fact that, like, I like to help people and I'm a caring person. I just made a lot of bad decisions, but it doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. That's what some people don't understand. They just like judge me for the fact that I did all of these things wrong, but I'm not, like, I just made bad choices.
That's wonderful. So kind of currently, what role does your family play in your journey?
I rarely see my mom and my sister, and my dad is in Chicago, so I don't get to see him, like, at all.
So do you get support from friends then, or?
Yeah, and like people at work that try to help me.
Wow, that's great. So kind of to wrap up here, well, first, thank you for coming on the show. I've loved hearing about your story. To kind of just wrap up, what do you think kind of is the one thing that motivates you?
Like the kids, like going to work every day, and like I just love working with them. They're always happy, and just being around them is just like great. Like, I really like my job, so I don't think that I would go back to how I was before and throw away what I have now.
That's great. Well, thank you again for being here, Marina. And so I've loved hearing your story, but it looks like this is all the time we've had for today. My name is Claire Boston, and you've been watching Storyosity, where everyone has a story. Thank you and goodbye.